Our goal today is I find equivalent fractions. Within this word equivalent, we see part of a word that we already know, equal. So we are looking for fractions that are equal to each other. And we're going to do that in a few ways today. One is going to be visually, one is by creating them, and then we're actually going to do that in a third way, and that'll be multiplying. So to start, we're going to look at our fraction strips. So looking at our fraction strips, you will notice that we have 1/2, 1/2, a third, a fourth, a fifth, sixth, eighth, ninth, and so on. So we are trying to find fractions that are equal. Remember, equivalent means equal. So if I want fractions that are equivalent to 1/2, I would be looking for fractions that take up the same amount of space as this. So 1/3, that doesn't work. And none of them by themselves work. But if I do something like this, I find that 1/2 is equal to 2/4. So I can write 1/2 is equal to 2/4 because 1/2 and 2/4 are the same amount of space. Now, if I go to fifths, there's nothing that goes to that same line, but with sixths, I can find something. And I find that 1, 2, 3/6 is equivalent to 2/4 and 1/2. And again, I can find that with eighths, with 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths. So I could write 1/2 is equal to 2/4, which is equal to 3/6, which is equal to 4/8. So when we find fractions that are equal, we can oftentimes find a math pattern within these. So if I were to go to 1/2 and then change it into 2/4, I multiply both the top and the bottom by 2. And 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So to get from 1/2 to 2/4, I'm multiplying by 2. Now, if I were to go from 1/2 to 6, I need to think 2 times what equals 6? And I know that's 3. And just like before, whatever we did to the bottom, we're going to do to the top. So 1 times 3 is 3. And then I can see that 1/2 is the same as 3/6. So here you can see it as we found it visually. And then here you can see it with multiplication. So we're going to do another one where we're just looking visually. So this time I want to find things that are equivalent to 2/3. So I'm going to box in my 2/3. And I'm going to look along the same line and see what is equal to that. So I see 6. If I go to here with 6, I have something that's equal. And again, I can keep looking down. 9ths. So I can then write my statement of 2/3 is equal to 4/6, which is also equal to 6/9. So 2/3 is equivalent or equal to 6/9. So we are just finding fractions that represent the same amount of space. So what this means is if I were to say, Miss Johnson, Miss Roth each get part of a pizza. One of them gets 2/3 and the other one gets 6/9. Who has more? We'd actually know that they got the same amount because they are equivalent. They are the same. So one way to find them is visually, like we just did with our fraction chart. We did this last year, so this part should be reviewed. The other way to find equivalent fractions is by splitting your fractions. So here, we have fraction strips. And we are going to look at them. And we'll start with a fraction like, let's do thirds. So I'm going to talk about 1/3. So because it's in 3 pieces, I've put it into thirds. Now, you can split each one of these. So I could split each of these into 2. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So I'd have 6. And if I wanted to know how much was equal to my 1/3, I would know that it's 2 of them. So 1/3 is equal to 2/6. And I did that by splitting it. So we can do another one. This time we will do fourths. And I'll show these separately to maybe help you see it better. And I want to know what is equivalent to 3/4. So I have 3/4 here. And right now this also is 3/4. But in order to see what it maybe equals in eighths, I could split this. So I could split each one in half. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. So I'm in eighths, and colored in are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as you can see, 3/4 is equal to 6/8. So we can find fractions visually. We can find fractions by splitting. And we can find fractions by multiplying. So today, you're going to focus on visually and splitting to find equivalent fractions. And you'll remember that equivalent means equal. So your job today is to find equivalent fractions by looking at them visually and by splitting them just like we did here. And then tomorrow, we're going to work on this multiplying one as a class. So as you work today, make sure that you figure out which ones are equivalent or equal. Good luck, scholars. I look forward to seeing your work.